Hello everyone, this is Darkwatch bringing you The Girl Who Was Sacrificed to Satan. Elyse Marie Pahler, a 15-year-old girl from Arroyo Grande, California, was found dead in March 1996. It was 1995 when Elyse Pahler was lured from her home in Arroyo Grande, California by the boys, 14-year-old Joseph Fiorella, 15-year-old Jacob Delashmutt, and 16-year-old Royce Casey, with the promise of drugs. Unbeknownst to Elyse, 3 teenage boys believed they had formed a contract with Satan. Elyse Pahler was reported missing on the 22nd of July 1995. She was a freshman at Arroyo Grande High School when she vanished without a trace. For 8 months, the case remained unsolved, until a confession was made in 1996. Out of fear that the other 2 perpetrators would kill him, Royce Casey came forward, confessed to the crime, and led authorities to Pahler's body. She was found in a grove on the Nipamo Mesa, about a quarter mile from her home, near where she was killed. Authorities almost couldn't identify her body when it was discovered as it was so decayed after withstanding 8 months of weather and wildlife. Elyse was stabbed and strangled to death. She had been stabbed 12 times in total, although none of the knife wounds had been deadly. However, she bled to death slowly. The 2 other teenagers, Jacob Delashmutt, 16, and Joseph Fiorella, 15, were arrested and charged with murder, gang involvement, rape, torture, and conspiracy, in addition to Casey. By sacrificing Pahler to the devil, the group hoped to enhance their guitar playing. She had blonde hair and blue eyes, and because she was a virgin, she would be a perfect sacrifice for the devil. Doug Odom, the chief investigator of the case, stated, that would make them play harder, play faster. And by making this perfect sacrifice to the devil, it might help them, their band, Hatred, go, quote, professional. Prosecutors said the 3 teenagers created a musical group to glorify Satan and earn a ticket to hell, and that they killed Elyse to commit the ultimate sin against God by sacrificing a virgin. They thought that by killing Elyse, the success of their band, Hatred, would improve. According to Casey, Fiorella and Delashmutt devised the murder plan. They chose Elyse because she was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed reputed virgin. They believed that because of these attributes, her murder would be the ultimate sin against God. The circumstances surrounding this murder appear to have inspired a scene in the 2009 film Jennifer's Body, in which the band Low Shoulder attempted to sacrifice Jennifer Check to the devil in order to attain fame and money. Delashmutt, Fiorella, and Casey had been following Elyse in the weeks before she vanished. They brought Elyse out to the eucalyptus grove on the Nipamo Mesa on the night of her death, promising her drugs. Delashmutt tied a belt around Elyse's neck after the 4 smoked some marijuana. The trio raped and tortured her. Delashmutt strangled Elyse with his belt, and Fiorella stabbed her in the neck with a hunting knife they had taken with them. Delashmutt and Casey then took turns stabbing her. Elyse pleaded for help as she was being murdered. The trio beat and kicked her. She called out to Jesus and to her mother. Her cries for help went unheard. Casey admitted to authorities that Elyse was on the ground praying to God and calling for her mom as she lay bleeding to death. Police suspect they then raped the corpse of Elyse. They deduced this from the state of her body. Delashmutt and Casey had practiced necrophilia, according to Fiorella's mother, and one of Delashmutt's acquaintances had boasted about returning to Elyse's body to have sex with it. The Pahler family sued the metal band Slayer in November 1996, stating that the band inspired the killers to murder their daughter. The lawsuit was postponed until the case was completed, which was in the year 2000, however it was dismissed because it lacked legal precedent. The Pahler family attempted again, claiming that the lyrics were harmful to minors, but were unsuccessful. Fiorella would plead guilty to first-degree murder in exchange for a life sentence with a minimum of 26 years in jail. During the sentencing hearing, Elyse's father, David Pahler, said, "Joseph, it's a parent's worst fear and lifetime pain to outlive their child. It's even worse knowing she was murdered, tortured, and raped as a virgin, sacrificed on the altar of Satan so that you can earn a ticket to hell." Casey pleaded no contest to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 21 years. Delashmutt also pleaded no content to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 26 years. Casey was eligible for parole in 2021. The release was not opposed by some members of Elyse's family, including her father. Casey was alleged to have expressed genuine regret for the murder, confessed, and led investigators to her body. He had a 20-year track record of good behavior in jail, having completed several rehabilitation programs, earned his GED, and was pursuing a bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology. During his parole hearing, he described Elyse as a truly wonderful person, saying that he had learned self-acceptance while in prison and that as a teenager, he had a desire to portray an image of being violent. He added that when he thinks of Elyse, he thinks of how immense the suffering that I caused, that Elyse doesn't have her life anymore because of me, and that she had to feel so much pain while I was murdering her. The California Parole Board would grant Casey parole. However, Dan Dow, the district attorney of San Luis Obispo County, penned a letter to the governor opposing the release. In the letter, he wrote that Casey has never adequately explained why he participated in such a sadistic and heinous murder. Ultimately, Governor Gavin Newsom would dismiss Casey's request for parole, overturning the parole board's decision. What do you think of this case? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are into these kind of videos, consider subscribing to Dark Watch and turn on the notification bell to get notified for more updates.